All right.
All right.
All right. Music Maniacs, we're here. I was just putting out the thing on the YouTube, sharing it. But
Yep.
we do have a lot to talk about now. Brown.
Yes.
We're gonna let's get into the well, because I kind of want to knock out the
Yeah.
odds,
Let's
but we have a
start
whole
off.
bunch. But what would you like to start with?
Well, let's talk about Becky Lynch
Yes.
and the promo she did on Monday Night Raw while in Birmingham, England. Ozzy Osbourne's hometown, now considered, it's been long considered the birthplace of heavy metal, knowing Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Def Leppard emerged from that area. Now, let me explain what happened. Becky Lynch, the WWE superstar who is currently one of the top heels within the women's division of that roster, she was in a heated promo segment between herself and Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. Now, it was during that segment where Lynch said the following words. She said, let me look it up right here. And boy, did she have struck some nerves. She said during that promo, she insulted the city that referred Ozzy Osbourne's death. She said, "quote
Brown,
unquote."
this was on Monday Night Raw, correct?
Correct. Yes,
Because I didn't see it live.
I saw clips of it.
Oh, that's what it was. You know what? It was,
Yep.
and this is the bigger thing, Brown. It was pre-recorded, I think, because it was
Really?
overseas. It was in Birmingham live, and obviously it's not going to be live in America. So yes, it was. That's the thing, because they were showing it live. It wasn't pre-recorded. They were showing it live earlier on Monday. That's what the
Yes.
thing was, Brown. I think that started at 4 o'clock or something, right? So by the time it was 7, all the YouTubers and everything. I mean, a lot of them knew, but then a lot of them didn't. WWE's not too good at, like, when you notify a time's going to change, you got to do it. You really got to hit notifications, like send the WWE subscribers notifications, shop subscriber email, whatever. Instead, I mean, they probably do it on the show. Like, hey, next week we're gonna be going on early live, but it's WWE. I mean, okay, so they couldn't have. I mean, obviously when they not re-air it, but when they have it on Netflix so you can watch it again, I think they did cut that out. They did edit that out, but obviously with it
I
being
would not be
live,
surprised.
yeah, when they were being it, because they were showing, technically, yes, they were showing it live for Americans, but it was earlier, like at 4 o'clock. So there's no way they could have edited it out, blah blah blah. By then, look, this is
You know what? They did this. The
yeah, this is
NWA
bad,
did the
dude.
same thing with the NWA did the same thing with something that one of their commentators, Jim Cornette, said during a match featuring Trevor Murdoch, the son of Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch. And as a result, he said something derogatory about people in East African countries running faster, something like that. You have to look it up on the internet. But eventually, they had to edit that comment out, and eventually, Cornette got fired from the NWA because it's him saying that. Now, let me go to what Becky Lynch said during this promo. She said, "quote unquote," basically said, "the only good thing that came out of here, meaning Birmingham, died a month ago." And she also added, "but in fairness to Ozzy Osbourne, he had the good sense to move to LA, a proper city, because if I lived in Birmingham, I'd die too." Now, a lot of Ozzy fans were not happy about this.
Brown, well, first of all, when did you hear about this? Where did you hear about it? And then, like, are you cool with Becky Lynch? Or are you like, screw that lady for that? Like, whose side are you on this?
Let me say it. I heard about this on something on YouTube. It was on Facebook as well in the video section of that platform. But I was not too keen on what she said. But keep in mind, the main job of the heel in the wrestling spectrum is to generate heat, to get people upset, to get a reaction, to get people to hate you. So that way, the next match comes along on either pay per view or some house show. The baby face comes out, whoops the ass of the heel. So the crowd be cheering, be like, yeah, you got yours, bitch. You got yours. That is the job of the heel. And this has happened many times before. Many times wrestling heels had talked smacked about various cities, whether it's Cleveland, Cincinnati, LA, blah, blah, blah. Other countries, Canada included, England included, Saudi Arabia included. This is not nothing new. But, however, Kelly Osbourne, Ozzy's daughter, was not too happy about this. In fact, she took to Instagram and she said that Lynch was a disrespectful dirtbag. And she even said that Birmingham would not even piss on you if she was on fire. She included the hashtag Birmingham Forever. And she also said, shame on the WWE for allowing such things to be said about my father and his home.
And you know what's wild is there's more than once. Obviously, when Ozzy passed, WWE put up clips and everything. There's a lot of throughout the years, especially in the mid 2000s, like in the 2000s, a lot of Ozzy and Sharon. Obviously, they had the show. I mean, people forget when that show came out, the Osbournes. That was like the first ever family reality show.
Yes, exactly. It took off massively. And let's also not forget, Ozzy Osbourne was involved with the WWE back at the second WrestleMania, 1986. He came out in support of the British Bulldogs with their manager, Captain Lou Albano, to win the WWF tag team titles. For those around YR's age, you may not have known that secret. If you want to look it up here on YouTube, I suggest do so. Ozzy had his blonde hair at that time, all out, all to here. But like I said, this was 1986.
That was during the Ultimate Sin album?
Yes, prior to the Ultimate Sin coming out, to be exact. Remember, WrestleMania was held in the spring of that year.
So people are saying, like, okay, so there's two different aspects to this. Like, there's the metal community who obviously are on Kelly Osbourne's side. But then there's portions, the wrestling community could be split to where wrestling fans know and understand that when wrestlers do the promo or talk nasty, talk negative on the mic, it's promo. Now, was all that worth all of that for that? Like, no. I mean, unless they're going to bring in Kelly to wrestle against Becky Lynch or something, like, yeah, that would be,
I know. Well, I would not be surprised.
That would be a reason to say something like that in a promo. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I would not be surprised if the WWE came up with this idea to make amends with Kelly. They could have schedule a match between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella one-on-one with Kelly Osbourne backing up Nikki Bella. I would not be surprised about that if that were to go down.
What about is Paige or the other goth chick? Is she in WWE right now? Or what about the one chick from Australia? The goth chick.
Rhea Ripley. Ripley.
I would rather I want to see her.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't want to see her? She's one of the top female wrestlers within the company's ranks. She's all over the place.
But I think this is real because I don't think it's going to be a wrestling angle or nothing like that. But it was, I think, especially the women, WWE, top women. I feel like they can I feel like they get carte blanche on like the mic. Like they may get a couple bullet points, but Triple H is like, here, you say what you want or whatever. Maybe before in the Vince McMahon days, those promos weren't so free like that, and maybe for all the right reasons to not have dumb stuff like this being said. Now, Ozzy's death is probably more impactful. Ozzy's death is more impactful, in my opinion. It's more impactful, more bigger than when John Lennon died. What did you say about that?
Well, let's say this. John Lennon and the Beatles were one of the reasons why Ozzy Osbourne got into music. Let's be fair about that.
Yes.
And Ozzy passing away was like a big blow to the city of Birmingham because, as we mentioned at the top of the program, Black Sabbath started their career in that area. Now, let me also go on the record to say this. I read various interviews of Ozzy Osbourne and Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi, and they didn't mention Birmingham, England at the time that they were growing up, at the time that they were starting their band, was not that good. Iommi stated that there was a lot of violence, there was a lot of pollution, there was also poverty. It's no
Yeah,
secret
it's
Ozzy
very
Osbourne grew up in poverty
poor,
himself.
very poor area, right, Brad?
Very poor area. I don't
Poor
know
area.
how it
Yeah.
is now, but back then, for what I heard from various stories and interviews, Ozzy, they all grew up basically, fighting for every crust of bread that was available. But like I said, I do not know how it is nowadays. Maybe the economy has improved. Maybe things have spiffed up a
Well,
little bit economically
Lennon,
wise. I'm not too sure.
when John Lennon died, was it like people poured the streets and all over? Because that Birmingham
They
thing,
were
that
all
was
over. Yo, they were when Lennon was murdered in New York City, December 1980. Everybody all over the FX comedy blocks were in front of the Dakota apartment building where Lennon lived with Yoko Ono. They were there for days and days and days, reminiscing about one of the guys who influenced everyone to pick up a guitar, write music, put together bands, start playing music, the Beatles. And here was Lennon living in New York City. He'd been living in New York City since before the middle of the 1970s. He loved New York City. And you viewed the video for Mind Games, which features Lennon browsing around, signing autographs, mingling with the people there, kids, wives, adults. It shows you how much Lennon loved New York City, and it also showed how much New York loved Lennon back. I mean, like, why not? Here was a Beatle living in your city.
What do you think? It's bigger, New York, Birmingham area.
Well, I think it's both because both Lennon and Osbourne made huge impacts within the world of music equally.
Well, where was Lennon? Where was Lennon born?
He was born in
John
Liverpool.
Lennon. Where's John Lennon?
He's originally from England. He was remember all the Beatles started from Liverpool. They hail from Liverpool, England.
In the chat, how many? If anyone knows how far Liverpool is from Birmingham, is it like kind of in the same area, like New York, New Jersey, perhaps, or Florida, Georgia?
I'm not too sure. I've never been to England myself.
Shout out to the over 50 watching right now. Keep
nice.
Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell for all notifications. So you're gonna tap that bell. It's gonna notify you for all the news, all the videos. We're gonna dive into I just went to the Jerry Cantrell concert this last Friday. We'll dive into that in a moment. We're diving into Ozzy solo guitars of Ozzy's career, and obviously this Becky Lynch news now.
Let me also add
that.
Yes, I saw that.
I put a video, but then like a day later, some my people in how do I put it? People that have an ear to the business, people that have behind the scenes input in the business, like I think No DQ, like basically wrestling news websites, were tweeting out that WWE is not happy with Becky Lynch. Did you see that?
Yes, I read that WWE is considering issuing an apology for Lynch's comments during that segment on that Monday Night Raw, because a lot of times heel wrestlers do say a couple things that are way out of line, way off base.
I mean, look, so like compare it to shoot, remember in the 2000s when they had that character? I forget his name. I think it was something Hassan, but it came out like kind of like a terrorist character, like right after 9/11.
You mean that? Yes, I remember. I cannot pronounce his name, but I know who you're talking
I think
about.
it was like
That
Hassan
came
or
a
something.
lot of-
So they
Yes,
went
I
with
know who you're talking
storylines,
about.
and I'm sure his promos were like, screw America, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So like they've definitely throughout the years. I mean, you look at Bret Hart, the Canada against America, like so throughout the years,
Yes.
it's always been a thing, like shitting on
Yes.
countries or shitting on areas that they're in, right? Classic move,
Right.
like, oh, it smells
Exactly.
here, and it smells here in Minneapolis. Sure, a bunch of trans people in the audience going to shoot up a bunch of Catholic schools, huh? I mean, if you said something like that now, I mean, at this point,
They
like,
won't do that.
but at this
Like I
point,
said,
I mean, look, but Brad, bro, she literally like kind of, she didn't make a joke about Ozzy's death, but she kind of like brought it up. It's like not a big deal when I mentioned before that, in my opinion, but I know I've heard a lot of metal and rock artists say the same thing, but I agree with them. Like this death is just as big or bigger than John Lennon. It's the impact of it.
well, let me say this. No doubt Lynch is going to be be in a few meetings with Triple H and Nick Khan over saying that. I do not know if it was planned or it was just out of the blue. So remember, sometimes promos are written by different writers. Vince Russo being the main one back in the day. But either way, WWE sometime soon is going to probably issue an apology, and most likely, as I mentioned earlier, will probably book Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch at their next pay-per-view, and in Bella's corner, Kelly Osbourne, most likely.
Nikki, you keep bringing up Nikki Bella. Is she in the storyline with Lynch?
Yes. Shit. Remember, they were both in a heated promo segment against one another during that Raw taping.
I missed like obviously I was at the concert Friday, so like I missed really all of the whole last week of WWE programming, and all this came out.
Mhm.
Now, Pete, next person in the chat, I got to read it. Yes, Kelly was 100%. Becky was so damn disrespectful. She needs and should apologize to Kelly and the rest of the Osbourne family. As RIP, loved Ozzy. Yeah, this is way too soon. I mean, even
Yeah, way too soon because it's not even 2 months since Ozzy's passing.
Oh my God, let me finish, bro. It was too soon because I would even say that bringing up Ozzy's death in a negative way or whatever, it would still be considered corny. Would you agree with that? Like, and they didn't. No one.
Corny?
You mean no WWE because it has nothing to do with. I mean, obviously they brought up the Hulk stuff, right? If they would have
Yeah.
done what they did with Hulk with Ozzy, which with and TBH, like they didn't really. Yeah, they did a 9-minute start with Triple H for that, and then they replayed it for things throughout the next week or whatever, right? I believe, but it's like, and look, they did special Hulk Hogan for shirts on their website. So they, I
Yes.
mean, what more could they do, right? Maybe they need to do a Hulk Hogan turn, I mean, not necessarily copying the Andre the Giant Memorial, but like do code.
I think your voice is cutting out. Your voice is cutting out, dude.
Hulk Hogan. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear, but your voice is cutting out for some reason.
Can you hear me? Is it cutting out still?
It's but your volume is fading in and out currently.
What about right now? Testing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I was saying,
What
I'm saying maybe they not necessarily make a Hulk Hogan title, but do like a Hulk Hogan Memorial Tag Team tournament
match?
for every not match. Like, let's do it a yearly. It needs to be an annual thing. It's Hulk Hogan
Tournament.
I'm talking about it. Yeah, tournament, like a yearly, or even do it for every WrestleMania or every pay-per-view or every other. I don't know. Like, they probably do that. But my point is, do you agree that it's corny to bring up a huge celebrity death on a platform when it has nothing to do? Like, WWE's a wrestling platform. They're talking on the mic. It's not a music MTV platform. Do you think that's like inappropriate and corny? And for them
Well,
to do this, it's like, what? Y'all couldn't even, like, I feel like I can't remember if they did a remembrance towards Ozzy on that day or on the next Raw. I don't know if they
they did
anything
pay
on that,
tribute. They did pay tribute to him on either Raw, the following SmackDown, or Raw. But I did see the tribute on social media soon afterwards, Ozzy's death. But there was a tribute to him, most definitely, because as we mentioned, he was involved with the second WrestleMania. Him and Sharon were involved in a taping of Raw at one point. And of course, who cannot forget the photo I remember seeing of Ozzy and Triple H in the ring when Triple H still had his hair and had the world title around his shoulder.
yeah.
So no doubt they'll probably issue an apology sometime soon. And most
All in
likely,
all,
as I
you
mentioned,
don't. But all in all, you understand that it was a wrestling promo. But would you agree
it
that
was.
it was too far? It was too.
It was. I agree. I think we'll agree. It was too far.
There's a
But you
thousand
know
different
what?
things she could have said. She could have said Birmingham smells like trash because I just came into the arena and there was trash and litter all over the ground. And she could have gone with that, right? There's a million
Yeah.
different things, but she had to be extra cringy. It's disgusting. I think it's disgusting. Look, we know wrestling is pre-planned. We know some of the injuries aren't pre-planned, though. A lot of times, more now than ever, these wrestlers are doing more high risk moves, and they're getting more injuries now than more than ever. I feel like, but now they write the injuries into the storylines, and it's crazy nowadays. But I feel like this was disgusting. I feel like obviously we know Triple H is giving people on the mic more leeway to say whatever they want. They probably do have bullet points, but they need to reel it back. I mean, Vince definitely probably did have bullet points plus more, but like whole scripts you had to read off. And yeah, it sounded robotic, but crap like this, I don't even think is Netflix or is it? What's the rating on that?
I'm not too sure, but as I stated, as I stated before, the job of the wrestling heel is to get the crowd angry, to get a reaction, to get people pissed off at them. And definitely Lynch did 100% a good job at doing that. Now, I agree, it was tasteless. It was disrespectful. I do agree it was a horrible thing to say. But like I said before, sometimes the heel has to do something disrespectful or say something disrespectful to get that heat, to get that reaction. And let me go back to something that Rowdy Roddy Piper did one time in Mexico. I got to tell you this story. He told this story on a podcast years ago. He said something about Mexico, Mexicans being this, being that. And of course, the Mexican wrestling audience was not happy at that. So Piper came into the ring with his bagpipes and he said to the mic, I want to apologize for what I said about Mexico and everybody who lived here. And in remorse, I'm going to perform the Mexican national anthem. And he starts with La Cucaracha, La Cucaracha. And everybody in the crowd just went completely ape shit. They started booing, they were throwing things. And you know what? That's, like I said, that's the job of the heel. Let's not forget Ox Baker. Who is no longer with us, he was one of the top heel indie wrestlers. He looked creepy as hell. Way before we had Father James Mitchell. Way before The Undertaker when he first debuted. Way before
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan when he first transformed into the Devil's Child, as he did with the NWA. He was
Now
also
back,
featured in. He was also.
we're
Let
getting
me
way,
continue. What
we're
did he
getting
continue
way
with?
too, we're getting way deep in wrestling though. We got over
But
100
let me
people
say
watching.
this.
All right,
But
go
let
ahead.
me say this.
Continue,
Let me
continue.
say this, and I'll close it out. Ox Baker was enough of a heel to start a riot in one arena. I believe it was in Cleveland, Ohio, years ago.
Yes.
Probably at the start of the 1980s or the later half of the 1970s. You know, and let's not forget, Ox Baker was also featured in Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, the John Carpenter directed movie.
Wrestling history for you folks. We're gonna dive in, and we're closing statements on. Okay, so let's agree. I want to see if we agree on all of this, you and me, Brown. And I think
Yes.
it would be the general constituents of everyone. We know that wrestling is predetermined. It's not fake. It's
Yeah.
predetermined. It's just like a movie, but it's way more physical than a movie. There's definitely acting, but it's physical. And when there's physicality involved, there's obviously a risk for injury. So that's all real and everything. Sometimes injuries is part of the storylines, and it's not as big as, maybe it might be a sprain instead of a broken foot. So they write that in a storyline, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, we know that, well, now it proves that Triple H is giving a little bit more leeway for people to say whatever they want on the mic, number one. Number two, you get stuff like this happening when you give that all that freedom. Now we see why Vince McMahon did the scripts and everything. Isn't apology gonna, like, what is that gonna, she said she didn't wish death or nothing. She kind of she didn't necessarily crap on Ozzy, but this death isn't just a regular. I mean, what if, look, everyone's talking about it, so that, out of WWE's mind, it's like, wow, they're getting the publicity, but it's like, there's some I mean, they wouldn't dare do nothing like that with Hulk Hogan. It's just too sensitive of a subject, a topic. Obviously the back to the beginning, just this big celebration, and then I mean, maybe like a living funeral at that. He was alive for his own funeral, his own celebration of life. And then the ending of his death and everything, and then Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's just too soon to, like I brought up before, it's corny to bring up subjects like that. Again, that's the same thing if Seth Rollins come out and said, yeah, CM Punk comes out and says, yeah, that trans shooter, God bless that person, screw the Catholic people, I mean, that's super offensive, and that, I'm putting that on that same pond as what Becky Lynch did. Super offensive. Just very, very inappropriate, Brown. Would you agree with all that?
I would say yes. It was very inappropriate for her to say that. You know what? This also came to my mind. If Becky Lynch were to talk smack about the city of Seattle, Washington, saying things like, Seattle's so crappy, Seattle's so full of bullshit, no wonder Kurt Cobain committed suicide here, you should probably get the same reaction.
That's exact same tone. That's the exact same. That's exactly what I got from all that. But listen, everyone, we got hundreds watching right now. Everyone, tap the bell first of all. Y'all probably already got me subscribed. I don't know, but hit the subscribe button. We have concert videos we put out, POV concert videos. We got this weekly live show. I do the karaoke. We got the karaoke going on. We have the news videos we put out as well. Did you see the any of the Jerry Cantrell videos, Brown?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So see some of them. Yes.
So I want to quickly share my experience of all that. Now, House of Blues was a venue. Now they have House of Blues throughout all of America. There's And a lot of times these groups just tour House of Blues. It's all the same. A very small venue, Brown. I mean, definitely smaller than 713 Music Hall. I'll tell you that. It's not as long. You know how 713 Music Hall, it was kind of long, like on the
Yes, it was a
floor.
night. Yeah, awesome looking.
I mean, this House of Blues was, I mean, super small, but it was packed. They're definitely lined out the door, for sure. But shout out to the polls for the AI. They got these new AI, and I'll be calling it Eddie Trunk, talking about it. These new AI metal detectors that are like poles, and it's AI, and it I don't know how, but it detects if you have something you're not supposed to have, but it can tell if you have it or not. If you're brandishing, if you have like a knife or a gun, it can tell through AI, because when you go through it, it doesn't beep. If it's your phone, you keep everything in your pockets. It's not like old school where you take everything out of your pockets, and that holds up the line. I mean, the lines, and they have these poles, these AI metal detector poles. They're throughout all the venues in the country now, Brown. Most of the venues have these. Now, how it detects, I don't know. It just basically it won't go off if you have your phones. I mean, because nowadays everyone has their phones. Like before, lines were so long that you had to wait. But these poles, you literally walk through, and most of the time, like 95% of the time, you're walking through and you scan your ticket and you're in the door. Now, if you got steel toe boots on, if you have I don't know, just maybe a wallet with a metal, like a belt, maybe a belt that's made of steel. That's not. It'll hit for that for some reason. So it will.
Or
I
a
mean, maybe
pocket
you have
knife.
car keys on you, and you have a bottle opener on the car key. It'll hit for the AI one. So, but shout out to those, because it makes the lines go. I mean, really, like you're
A lot more quicker.
very quick. So we go in. Originally, this was the package, Brown. It was supposed to be Filter opening for Jerry Cantrell. Okay, and I
We know
saw
that
that.
band.
This was like a month and a half ago. I saw that, and I was like, wow, let's go to that. But then Filter came out maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that, and the singer, I forget his name, but he's having back
Richard
surgery.
Patrick. I
Richard
see
Patrick,
there.
yes. So I went to their website, Filter's website, and they canceled all their shows for their tour. Because I know when I bought the tickets, I went to their site just to make sure, because I was like, wow, Filter's open. I mean, that was going to be a great package. But they had some bullshit opening band that was kind of, I was kind of falling asleep half the time, to be honest. No big name or nothing. But Jerry can't. I mean, they played. I didn't film the whole thing because there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. They didn't play. There was the Off the Rails song off the new album. They didn't play that, which kind of sucked. But look, honestly, bands like Alice in Chains, obviously what Jerry Cantrell's doing, his solo stuff's a little bit more metal, a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, than the Alice in Chains stuff. But honestly, it all sounds like Alice in Chains. They do the harmonies. They got the two singer, obviously him singing. Now the guy, there's a younger guy that they were touring with on this first leg. So it was really like a 3-piece, or instead of a 4-piece or whatever, something like that. So I think that guy was sung on this new album, but I don't know if he's sick or something. So they brought in this other guy who plays guitar and sings at the same time. He's doing the Lane Stanley stuff, and he was great. I think Jerry Cantrell, for his solo bands, the singers he has is better than the guy they put in for now in Alice in Chains. What's that guy's name? The African American man?
William something, I think it is. Let me look it up there. His name was
And
William.
I talked to people at the concert, and they agree. Like they like I mean, he's good, but tries too hard or whatever. I don't know. A lot of people like the Cantrell solo band stuff better. I mean, he does. I mean, granted, the Alice in Chains, they probably play more deeper stuff, blah blah blah. But you're going to Cantrell show, you're getting everything you want. If you're a Alice in Chains, radio fan, you're getting Man in the Box, you're getting Rooster, you're getting obviously one of my, if not my favorite, Wood, Mark. I like Sea of Sorrow too. It's one of my favorite. They didn't play that, but I like that song too. They played another, I think it's a deeper cut from Alice in Chains called Rain When I Die. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, I heard of that song, yes. And the current singer, his name was William DeVoe. He's the current guy
Yes.
singing for House of Change right now.
Oh, Leslie Buchanan, the cat thinks you're Keith Richards on here.
No,
People, you
I'm
look
not
like
surprised.
everyone, Brown. You look like Ronnie James Dio.
I
Keith Richards,
know, I know. It's
Geezer
like I get
Butler.
compared. I know I get compared to Kevin Baker, Roger Waters. When my hair was longer, it was either Alice Cooper, Slash, or Gene Simmons, or Jimmy Page at one point, or
Definitely
you
had the
name it. This happens
big Gene
all the
Simmons.
time.
Yes, yes. Look, if you had like blue tinted glasses or like sky blue tinted glasses, red tinted glasses. Shout out to
If
the
my hair-
tinted glasses. Your hair looks great, better than ever. Listen,
Thank you.
so back to real quick. I didn't buy any shirts or nothing. I don't know what the capacity is for these House of Blues. Maybe 1,000. I don't know, dude. Like the floor was packed. It was too packed for my comfortability. Definitely a lot of gray-haired people, but definitely
Yep.
a lot of goth, younger people wearing all black. Definitely a grip of Hispanic
Mm-hmm.
fans there. Very interesting. I like Hispanic younger fans. I feel like, people like Luke Rojas and others, kind of like that mold.
Yes.
Like Alice in Chains, like there's something kind of like how Metallica has like a rabid like Latin fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
Yes.
Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell has like a Latin Hispanic fan base as well. Obviously, tons of. I mean, I'm not trying. I'm just telling you what I pick up because like there's shows that are just all gray haired people, and I'm the only young person, and it's wild. A lot of couples at a lot of shows nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
like definitely all these 90s bands, 90s era shows, it's definitely more of a mix than other. You're definitely your people that were 20 and 30 or teenagers in the 90s are now 40, 50 and 60. You know what I mean? So you're definitely getting a lot of gray hair people, a lot of older couples, but then you're getting like younger people, like people that would just look like they shopped at Hot Topic last week or something, Brown. I mean, it's wild what definitely a lot of pot in the air as well, Brown. A lot of marijuana. You could definitely smell that for sure. What else? It was. I mean, it was like a movie theater. These House of Blues venues. It's like going to a movie theater, and instead of the screen, it's a stage. And I mean, it's literally like that, guys. That small. I mean, it's great. It's wild. I mean, probably the best. It's limited, and you got to buy the tickets, or they're going to sell out. And they only sell a certain amount of GA seats, and like that's a smaller, like the Me and Brown Judas Priest concert at the 713 Music Hall. And they had NXT there a couple months ago, as a matter of fact, at that same venue. Just these small venues that are almost like it reminds you of your school basketball court, where it's like a slab of concrete that could probably fill like 1,000 people or something. But listen, this concert, it was good. Look, like he still has it. It's sad, the story of Alice in Chains and everything, right? And a lot of bands these days, obviously Nirvana was one that never kind of came back together, whatever. Obviously Foo Fighters got started and they did their own thing, but like, there's still Alice in Chains, I feel like has like the best catalog of the 90s. But let me finish and I'll let you go. But honestly, I'm not being negative, but listening to and this is why I like heavy metal music, guitar bass, twin guitars, screaming loud singers, the energy, because a lot of this 90s stuff is so just down and depressing, and even all that Alice in Chains stuff, like the screaming's great and everything with Staley and everything, but like a lot of it's like It's like the same kind of tempo. It's the slower. I love it, but it's like, man, the 90s were really like a lot of that music was so depressing and slower and down and was all these artists on heroin, Brown, back in the day, and
Well,
alcohol
I
in the
do.
90s?
Well, I think one of the issues with some of those bands is that many of them came from dysfunctional childhoods. I mean, like, I'm not too sure how Lane Stanley grew up, or maybe Kurt Cobain grew up. Well, we all know how Kurt Cobain grew up. His parents got divorced when he was young age, and he was never the same afterwards. I mean, like, a divorce like at such a young age for any boy or girl, that's going to have a huge effect on you.
Yo, JP
That's
in the
going to
chat
be.
says, "Is this guy someone? This guy's calling you Bon Jovi." Someone says you
I
look
had
like Bon
that
Jovi, and the other
before.
person said you look like Keith Richards, bro. You look like all the rock stars, Brown.
I
Bro,
had
if
Bon
you
Jovi a
walk
couple
down,
of times.
if you went to like L.A., Hollywood, whatever, walk down, all them bars and stuff, the Rainbow. If you walk down and you wear your leather jacket, someone's gonna stop you and say, "Hey, are you fucking John Bon Jovi, bro?" And then you can be like, "No, my name is Dr. Music from the nah."
I know, but you know what? I had that happen a couple of times when I visited Conroe back when I was still in Texas. I think
Shout out,
even Nikki Nines mentioned that.
shout out to the over 100 viewers live. Tap that subscription tab. Make sure you're subscribed and then tap the bell. Obviously, go over to Dr. Earl Brown's channel, Dr. Earl W. Brown. He does these weekend crazy wild DJ sets. I mean, it's like house music, industrial, all the kind of DJ style music you would go to the club on a
Hmm.
weekend. He does. You can sit at home, drink on your drink, because we know when you go out. I mean, we're talking $15 beers. We're talking $30 mixed drinks. So it's way more cheaper to drink at home. Drink at home on the weekends and tune into Dr. Brown's DJ sets, guys.
Yes,
What
thank you.
Brown? What kind of music do you produce on that? By the way,
Well, music on the music sets for my channel. Well, I come up with three things. I come up with just a basic techno with towards the dark side a little bit, dark industrial techno set, which is techno music with elements of industrial added to them. And I'm not the only one. There are others who do the same thing. I mean, look up dark techno sets. You'll here on YouTube. You can find other artists, other DJs doing the exact same thing. One of my favorites being Marvu, which is spelled Marfu. He's a good DJ within the dark techno side there.
I like DJ Mofo. He's out of Sacramento. DJ Mofo.
Ah, nice. And also,
Shout out to all the pendejos in the chat. Tap that bell. That's going to notify you when we go live or when videos come out. Like, because I'll film videos at concerts. Then I'll put out, when there's big rock news, I'll put out videos during that. And then we do this weekly show. I do the karaoke streams. And then obviously Brown's channel, all the music stuff going on over there. So
like
to close on
night.
to close on the Cantrell thing. Overall, I don't know, like, yes, that's probably my favorite band from the 90s. Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins. I'm saying those two straight up. Obviously, your Soundgardens, your STPs. I'm not, I feel like Nirvana's just the most overplayed stuff ever. Next to like some of the Metallica Black Album stuff. I feel like all that's so overplayed. And to be fair, a lot of the AC/DC stuff is a lot really overplayed. It's great. Maybe that's why it's overplayed, because it's so good and great. But a lot of the Alice in Chains stuff. I mean, that is really good, dude. Really good. I mean, you still got
Real deep.
guitar solos. Cantrell alone. I would even throw Slash in there. Part of your '90s guitar gods. So when obviously Zach Wilde, throwing part of the '90s. Generation of guitar gods. But yeah, like Jerry Cantrell is very important to the '90s and to that music, and Alice in Chains to me is similar to, and if people in the chat agree with me, agree on this, and you, Brown, like, I feel like Linkin Park, obviously there's a lot of rap influence with Linkin Park, but I feel like Linkin Park with the double singers, they got two singers in the band. You have a singer slash screamer that, is famous for the screams and everything. And Lane Stanley too, he can belt it out as well. And they obviously Cantrell was on. Now, like, listening to this concert, I can't tell what parts of the songs, like on the record, was Cantrell singing, because obviously nowadays I don't know if he's not singing the big yelling parts of Lane Stanley, but like I don't know how many songs was Jerry Cantrell's voice on those records, or was I mean, he does it so good, they make it sound so good together. I can't tell, to be honest. It was that good. Like,
had good heart.
You could definitely, when there was Wood and when there was Rooster and there was Man in the Box playing, and I did it a lot of time. I closed my eyes. I felt like I was listening to the record, Brown. I felt like I was listening. It was that good. I mean, I have to tell you. So a lot of times that's really, I mean, that's kind of what got me started videoing. It's like, holy crap, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. I got a video. I gotta document this. It's all about the documentation of these artists, because look, Ozzy died and there's not a lot left, Brown. There's not. I mean, look, I'll even throw this out there, and I'll put this. I put this on a post. I feel like Iron Maiden is better than the Beatles. Is greater than the Beatles. Would you agree with that?
No, because the Beatles were one of the inspirations for many bands like Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne.
I don't know, but bro, it's all about longevity, brother. Iron Maiden's still going, stronger than ever. I mean, look, I've been listening. Look, not to get off too much, but like, I don't know if you agree with this, but like, Brave New World album, when Bruce came back, a lot of that stuff is. Look, he even was on this. He was talking to Eddie Trunk the other day. I mean, he's saying Bruce's comeback stuff is, and he was in the band longer now in the comeback than when he was originally before. He feels stronger on obviously the what's the one album where it was like the military tanks on the cover in the 2000s?
A Matter of Life and Death.
I mean, that was a strong album, but really that Brave New World album. And the point of my question is, Iron Maiden is better than the Beatles. You cannot argue that, Brown. Can you argue that?
Well, we'll leave it up to the people to decide.
Come on, Brown. You know it. You know they are. But Iron Maiden, in my opinion, like, I was high on Judas Priest for years.
Yes,
bro, the key word is longevity. Bro, the Iron Maiden. I mean, all the 90s bands, they still sound great and better than ever, right? But that's the 90s. It's not too long ago. But heavy metal is just so greater because you're yelling, you're screaming. It's trying to do some of these karaoke songs, bro. I mean, even I Remember You, Skid Row, the ballad is so hard. And I am the world's greatest karaoke singer, but that's part of the luchador gimmick and everything. But the Jerry Cantrell On and Law, 10 out of 10. Great venue, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there was a chick sitting next to me. She was like, she wasn't drunk, but she was like talk, asking me about my fucking music history. Look, she was hot. She looked like a more MILF version of like Nikki Bella or something. I don't know. Like, she was hot, bro. I'm not going to lie, but like, I'm not necessarily looking to hook up with women at concerts. I'm going to concerts to see the concert. And especially like when they're drunk, and I don't drink, like I order a water. I don't drink. I mean, $15, it's ridiculous amount of money on alcohol prices, but I get it. When you get your buzz going on a couple beers, a couple tall boys, get your drink going, it does make a difference with the concert. It really boosts up the experience. But again, I'm not an alcoholic, so I go for the water. Okay.
Yes.
And look, the chick was hot, but I don't like to go for drunk chicks because it's not right. You know what I mean, Brown? It's not appropriate. If I was drunk and she was drunk, and then hey, I'll buy you a shot. Hey, I'll drink a shot too. Like, that's what, but definitely, I mean, obviously, those chicks were talking to us at the Judas Priest concert, right? About 2 or 3 of them.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
Like an older Japanese MILF lady, and then this other white lady. I mean, there's definitely a group of women talking to me and Dr. Brown at the Judas Priest concert for sure. They were
Yep.
late, like they came up late, like they squeezed in there. They were cool as hell.
They were
Guys,
nice.
like
Yeah.
women, for people out there that can't get women or scared to talk. I mean, women will kind of talk to you first a lot of these times. I mean, really, you just be standing there. I mean, don't be smelling bad or don't be, you know what I mean? But women will like just make conversation with you and then it just flows. But all in all, 10 out of 10 concert,
That
Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, you know what? That has happened to me many times at the City Club in Detroit, a few times at the Castle here in Tampa. And let me also point something out there. Ozzy Osbourne once cited Alice in Chains as the Black Sabbath of the 1990s, and rightfully so, because Alice in Chains did provide that total, in-depth darkness that was kind of missing for many years throughout the
Yes.
1980s during the glam period, the party all the time, bang your chick in the ass type of stuff there. And so in a lot of ways, when the alternative grunge scene started, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. Here was stuff that was real. It was just now deal with real issues, real perspectives, and Soundgarden included. They were big because they added elements of Black Sabbath into their music, the detuning, the changing the tempos, you name it. As we stated, Master of Reality by Black Sabbath, their third record, played a huge ass part in the alternative grunge scene in the early 1990s.
Yes.
Big time.
Let's see, let's read the chat. We got Getty Lee, how you doing, brother? We got Admiral Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
We got Rocco. You would tell him. Volcano, Sandy's pack, Teddy Lee's outnose. That gang, Sandy's pack loves your name. Everyone in the chat, tap that bell. Got over 120 viewers watch. It's gonna be probably the highest viewed Music Maniacs we've ever done, Brown. And we've done this show for what, 5+ years?
Yes.
Through your channel and everything.
Yes, exactly.
So congratulations to us on that big day. So tap that bell notification, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe for Dr. Earl W. Brown's channel as well.
Yes.
Any news pieces, if you want to scroll through Blabbermouth or something real quick, because we need to cover
none. I haven't checked out Blabbermouth.
Nothing too big, right?
Nothing too much here, other than the issues with a couple of ex-members of Cradle of Filth. There's a war going on between those two sides there.
Yeah, touch on that real quick. Can we touch on that real quick? What'd you see on that?
I didn't really see much there, but I know that apparently a couple of ex-members accused the management of not doing paychecks or anything like that, not paying them well. So they departed. There are a few words being exchanged left and right between both camps. But then again, what band that has parted ways with a couple members has not went through that themselves? Remember the issue between Brent Hines and Mastodon? We spoke about that previously, that Hines was apparently let go from the band, and up to his surprising. Nowadays, when someone departs from a band, it's usually not on good terms. There's usually a lot of backlash, a lot of fighting with words going on left and right and left. I mean, we've seen it many times before, Now, I'm not that big on Cradle of Filth myself there, I prefer a singer to sing, not to actually go like they're taking the dump or something.
I cannot stand that crap, bro.
I know. It's like, geez, do your diarrhea first, then get on stage and sing instead of bring your diarrhea with you on stage.
That
okay,
is
homie?
part of the newer metal music, though, Brown.
Yeah,
Pantera kind of started that, right? Pantera kind of, or I don't know. They did that.
Mostly thrash bands out of other countries and death metal groups out of the Norwegian way as well. They kind of started that as well. bands like Mayhem or Behemoth or other bands as well from the black metal region in Norway, Sweden, and such.
Hey, shout out to ICP. I think they're doing they're on tour right now. Would you ever hit or did you ever see ICP?
I
Insane
never
Clown
saw
Posse.
I never saw it. ICP. Never once in my life.
But that was listen. Besides Kiss, in a way, that was and ICP really dove into the wrestling stuff.
They did
as well.
Yeah,
That's cool of them.
Yeah, they were involved with both WCW and WWF, as it was called at that time. And plus, they also have Juggalo Championship Wrestling on the side just as well. In
Shout
fact,
out
they
to
even had that
ICP.
video.
But you would never be interested in going to one of their shows. It's too wild
Well,
for us to.
the only thing, I do know one thing. A lot of things going to be thrown around. There's a lot of Fago Cola, which is a Detroit favored product, by the way.
You've had it before?
Yes, Fago Cola. We used to drink it as a kid, me and my sister. You know, it's still manufactured today. It's located on Gratiot Avenue back in Detroit.
All right, so closing statement. Well, I think we covered everything. You wanted to get into the Ozzy. Let's get into the Ozzy solo.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah, because we tried to do that last week, but something came up.
We had
at the
technical
last
issues. Yeah, technical difficulties and everything, and lagging and whatever. So, for the people out there, I want to see for the over 100 watching right now. I want to see you comment. Who is your favorite Ozzy solo guitar player? Brown. Real quick before we get into it, who you have to pick one. If you had to pick one, and if you don't feel bad for all the other ones because they're all good, and we're talking studio, tour, everything in any capacity that played for Ozzy, who would you pick?
It have to be probably, of course, the first one, Randy Rhoads, because the stuff that they conjured up on those two records was still today phenomenal. I mean, the way Randy Rhoads delivered those riffs, those licks on many of the songs on both those albums, still phenomenal to this very day. I mean, they came up with some
learning all of this,
stuff.
and learning all this, it's quite interesting how Jakey Lee has such a pretty rabid fan base. There's a lot of people that love Jakey Lee. Obviously everyone gives Randy Rhoads their respects, bow down to him and everything. But Jakey Lee only did that one album.
Two albums.
He did two albums?
Yeah, Bark of the Moon and the Ultimate Sin.
That's right. He only did how many tours though?
Two. Actually, did a couple more than just two.
I'm missing something. Where there was one guitarist who only did one tour or one album or something. Who was that?
Well, there were in between Jake, Randy, and Zach. There was also Joe Holmes from the 1995 period, and there was also Gus G. Round Scream was out on the shelves. So I'm thinking those two guys are probably thinking of by chance.
Honestly, Randy Rhoads, obviously everyone's going to be the number one, but like Zach Wilde has just that whole sound. The I don't know what that thing you call it, Brown, when he does that sound or whatever.
Let me guess, it's like a da 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 da.
Yeah, it's like
I do not know what it's called, but it's badass to the full max.
Ruckus. What is that called in the chat, guys? When it's maybe harmonics? Is that what it's called?
I'm not sure what it is, but I'm thinking it's where you hold the pick a certain way and you strike the strings in a certain style, I guess. Many other guitar players have done it before in the past, but the way Zach does it was beyond phenomenal. still phenomenal to this day.
I
And
mean, he
also
is
adding
Ozzy. He was
crybaby pedal
Ozzy's
as well.
longest. He was Ozzy's longest guitarist, and I'm probably thinking, you know, he does his Zach Sabbath shows. I mean, that's what you're. That's what we get. I mean, that's what you're getting. Anything has to do with like officially Ozzy. I mean, that's what you're. Unless you know, a Geezer Butler comes out. Didn't Geezer Butler a band Red Dead Ritual or something?
Dead Ritual, not that I know of, but I
Ritual.
know
It's
like
called. It was
he's
called like Dead Rituals, or it was like a recently, like within the past 10 years or something. Geezer
not
Butler was
that
a
I
part
know
of
of.
it. Like, so they got their projects and stuff. It's just
I
like
know
obviously,
Geezer had GZR for a while, and then later he had Geezer, which I remember seeing at the shelter back in around the later half of 1997. I know Bill Ward had a couple solo records of his own, and Iommi had his one solo record out there around 1999.
all right, for the people out there, do you remember and explain the death of Randy Rhoads?
Oh, we all know how it happened. They were here in Florida back in May of 1982, and for some dumb reason, the pilot of the small plane that they had apparently took Randy, and I guess one of their staff members, I guess it was a makeup artist or wardrobe individual, whatever you call it. They were fucking around on the plane, flying it way too slow to the ground, and then boom, I guess one of the wings caught on something and crashed into this house. And what I also read, Ozzy ran into the house of where that guy was living, where the plane crashed, and had to drag him out because apparently the dude was asleep. So if that's so, Ozzy may have saved a man's life from a burning household.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't really heard anything ever really. But like Randy Rhoads, he never, you know, there's really not a, um, I don't know, a narrative on him that he never dabbled with the drugs, or I mean, maybe I've heard a
No.
few things about maybe he drunk a little bit, perhaps did some alcohol stuff. Is that true? Or
I'm
he
not
was
too
really like a
sure.
teacher. Randy Rhoads, he was like a teacher of classical guitar and all that, and like I think his
He was
family
he
had a
also
guitar business, like teaching guitar.
I guess Randy also would look up when he arrived at a different city. He would look up various guitar teachers and learn a couple things as well, like classical guitar. Take, for example, the instrumental D on Blizzard of Oz prior to Suicide Solution kicking in. But Randy was a unique player without any question. He was, and he still remains a unique player to this very day. In
Would you
fact,
put him in your?
it was
Would you
still
put him in like a top 5 greatest guitar players ever?
I would say yes, because listening
Really?
to him, yeah, because I would listen, because after listening to both Blizzard of Oz and the Diary of a Madman on vinyl records back in the day, I would definitely say Randy Rhoads was like one of my other inspirations for getting back into the guitar because I had stopped for a couple years, playing guitar around, I guess it was 1980 or then later on. Well, actually, a couple years, year and a half after I stopped playing. Then I heard Robert Fripp from King Crimson, a couple of those old records, along with Randy Rhoads, and then Tony Iommi. And that's when I picked it up once again and took some lessons from a couple of people that my sister knew.
Now, is it true that like I don't know the exact day he died, Saturday, Friday, whatever, but like
It was a
were they
weekday.
like on their way to another city for were they on tour currently? And then like basically my question is, um, did they like bring in like a guitar tech to fill in for some shows like very quickly, and that was kind of controversial or something? Because weren't they
Well,
on tour during that or?
they were, yes. They were. They were just still supporting the Diary of a Madman around that time. It occurred in May of 1982, as mentioned. It was on a weekday. I first heard about it on the radio, and then they made the announcement that they kicked into "You Can't Kill Rock and Roll." Then later on, towards the evening, MTV broke the news when it was still MTV. And of course, the world was buzzing about it. Newspapers reported on it as well. I mean, like rock radio was talking about this huge time. And they did get two fill-ins afterwards. The first was a man named Bernie Torme, who is no longer with us. He died a couple years back. He filled in on a few shows, but the main one that Phil basically did a good job filling his shoes was Brad Gillis. And this would give gateway to Gillis and his band, Night Ranger. People remembered him from the filling in for Randy's shoes on that Ozzy tour. And they said, hey, there's this band, Night Ranger. That's the guy who played with Ozzy. Let's check his stuff out there. And lo and behold, Night Ranger made it big throughout that whole decade. And the same thing with Rudy Sarzo, the bass player. They found out when the Quiet Riot's Mental Health came out, people looked at the back. Oh, that's the bass player from Ozzy's band. Let's go check this record out. Yeah, this is badass. Yeah, I'm going to recommend everybody get this record. Yeah. And that's how Quiet Riot make it big, as well as Night Ranger.
Well, Night Ranger only had that one good song, right? So, Sister Christian.
Well, not just Sister Christian. There
Come
was
on.
also
What other song did they play?
well,
That's the only one they played for them on the radio, though, back then, right? Or no?
They also played "Don't Tell Me You Love Me." They also played "Sing Me Away." They also had "Midnight Madness," and they also had "You Could Still Rock in America." Those songs were also played on radio just as well. It's just that nowadays they only play Sister Christian.
Nada de español suscríbete a este canal ahora. Por favor, vivete nosotros los jueves de la semana pasada. Únete a este show now live. Haz clic en el enlace del chat for our español and our Hispanic fans and audience out there. Thank you. Por favor. Brown.
Right. Yes.
We have a huge South American fan base on this channel, so we got to, we got to learn their language as well. Sharing is caring. Brown, did you? So obviously, when that happened, George Lynch, was that before George Lynch was supposed to?
I believe it was before Randy.
Yes.
But apparently his hair was too short at that time, so they just said nah to him.
So who was next? Who came in next?
I believe it was Randy, definitely, who came in to the audition. Ozzy was like, "Yo, go ahead, let him play him stuff." I'm tired. I get to get to bed and such and such. And that's when Randy plugged in his amp, started warming up, and that's when Ozzy is like, "Whoa, this guy's something unique here. Let's get his info down. Let's get him on tour. Let's do some songs together." And it was just back in early 1980. Then he would hook up with bass player Bob Daisley and a former Uriah Heep drummer, Lee Kerslake, rest in peace to him. And they would put together what would be known as Blizzard of Oz, the band. Then later became Ozzy Osbourne, solo artist and such. And lo and behold, afterwards, Daisley and Kerslake will later get the boot by Sharon and not get paid for contributing to Diary of a Madman. They played on that album just as well as the first, but the credit was given to Tommy Aldridge on drums and Rudy Sarzo on bass alongside Randy and Ozzy.
All right, so who was after
after Brad Gillis, who did the fill-in? That's when Jake Ely came in the picture. He made his debut back in the US Festival 1983. I remember seeing that performance. Ozzy's hair was a lot more shorter. He came out dressed as a witch doctor and then kicked into his songs.
And people knew about Jake Ely, or it was like a surprise?
Well, Scott, I'm not too sure if it was, but it was foretold he had a new guitar player beforehand. I remember that's what I heard from the radio stations around that period of time. And that's when, of course, they released a Bark to the Moon, and look how huge that song became on the radio and on the old MTV as well. An interesting video just as well.
Was
If you
Jakey
ever
Lee
seen
in that
video?
video or no?
Yes, along with drummer Carmine Appice. He also played with Ozzy as well, filling in for Tommy Aldridge. And I believe Bob Daisy was involved on the road just as well. In fact, here's something else that Ozzy mentioned in the interview. Daisy often contributes to bass chores on the albums, but usually not on tour. And I guess it's because, according to Ozzy, they get along in the studio, but not on the road.
Yes.
Hmm. Now, of course, after Jakey Lee, after he did, go ahead.
Would you agree that between Zach Wilde and the material he did with Ozzy, which is 20 plus years now, or Randy Rhoads' material he did with Ozzy, what made more money? You think? What sold more?
In terms, I'm not sure. I'm thinking right now, probably, with the exception of No More Tears being as big as it was around 1991, 92, I think that one's probably sold how many copies, because to this day, songs from that record are still played on the radio. But I think it probably the two ones he did with Randy, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, are probably still platinum sellers to this day, because the huge amount of influence they have brought on to the new generation.
Should I donate Joe $100 every monetize this to ban Garguts for the episode?
Oh my God. Bro. What the fuck?
Because quick sidebar on that monetize this I was on that everyone's raving about.
I heard
Jesse
about
J's
that, man.
loving it. Everyone's loving it. Garguts came in there rude to me like an asshole. Look, I was cool with Jay Menace. Me and Jay Menace were hitting it off great. Everyone was great. There was no issues. Even that Ghost from the Coast guy, we traded some barbs back and forth, but eventually, like, what I'm saying? Everyone, it was smooth and nice. But Garguts came there as a dick. Okay. Got all butt hurt and left. So I'm going to propose to Joe, over 100 people watching right now here. I'll give you $100 every monetize this to ban Garguts for the night. For every monetize this. If Joe doesn't want to come up with a five, like, I'd give him a five. I don't know. Let's be realistic though. I'd give him $300 to ban him until Christmas. But he doesn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, let me do 100. Let me do an offer. Let me make it a little bit spicier. $100. So Joe's getting a guaranteed hundo bomb for monetize this. And let's ban Garguts for every fucking episode of monetize this. How about that?
Wow, interesting there.
You would agree with that? You would agree with that?
Oh man, I'll bet you Danny and T would love that one for shizzle.
Shout out to Getty Lee in the chat for saying my favorite artist was Garguts back in the 2001. So, but listen, back to the music. Did you see? And guys, over 100 watching, if y'all want to donate, just go to the Joe Cronin show. He has all platforms and you'll be able to find him. He's a middle-aged 45-year-old man, full family, no job, past due on his water bill, everything, folks. So, but he's a great worker. He's, I'm trying to get him in WWE broadcasting. But shout out to him. We're going to try to get you, Brown, in with him as well. Get a nice,
broadcasting or doing a commentary, I guess.
Just because I feel like Joe kind of feels like you still hate him, so I kind of want to get that taken care of and cleared up.
Yeah,
but I know you don't. I know you don't hate anyone, but
I don't hate oil. But there's
a lot because I've been watching a lot of old. I've been watching a lot of old monetize this, and there's a lot of episodes where you were on there. I was like, wow,
yes, exactly.
You're part of the history. You're part of history. So, Brown is a YouTube legend, like an OG of YouTube. If you go on Dr. Earl Brown's channel, guys, there's his hair, the the further away from this year you get, basically, the older the video, the longer the hair Brown has, right?
Yeah, my hair was way long when I first started. Keep that in mind. In fact, I can still remember the time Joe called in on the show I was on with Ken, saying, "I know that's you, Dave Rose. I know that's you."
Yeah, it's very classic moments. But when you did you ever own any records, cassettes, or CDs of any of these Ozzy guitarists with him?
Yes, Randy Rhoads. I also had No Rest for the Wicked, which Zach Wilde made his debut. Badass record as well.
Yes.
Songs like Crazy Babies, Tattoo Dancer, A Bloodbath in Paradise, Demon Alcohol. And interesting song Demon Alcohol is because it's a song from the alcohol's point of view on how much of a grip it has on the individual intaking it.
That was a very low volume selling record. Like, let's face it, besides No More Tears
Mm-hmm.
in the 90s or whatever, everything else was, I mean, you got to agree that No More Tears was the best album Zach played on, correct?
It was probably the bill most successful as well.
Like popularity. What year did that come out?
1991.
Oh my God.
Yep. And around that time, record labels were doing this. They were placing albums on sale at midnight. They did that with Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I know Ozzy did that with his record, No More Tears. And the same thing with Bruce Springsteen when he put it out, 2 records, Lucky Town and Human Touch. All went on sale at midnight on a certain date.
Yeah.
Yep.
But ultimately, look, I'll put Zach Wilde at second. Everyone has. I don't know. I
So
might
do
put him
I.
at first. I might put him at first too. He's grown on me a lot. Ever since we've been doing this music show, a lot of the black labels, like you said before, like Ozzy brought in someone else during a period because he didn't want that BLM Black Label Society sound, BLS Black Label Society sound, or whatever.
Well, it wasn't really just sad. Zach was also going through some drinking issues himself. In fact, it was a health scare that convinced Zach to quit drinking altogether. And that's when Zach got sober, he got clean. And plus, not just for his career, but also for the sake of his boss, Ozzy Osbourne, but also for his family. He's married, he has 2 sons, Hendrix and Sabbath. That's their names. Kid you not. And of course, Zach is, I'm sure Zach wants to be around for his kids, his 2 sons to graduate from high school and then later college.
Dr. Brown, when you purchased that shirt, when did you cut off the sleeves on that? And why did you cut off the sleeves? Yes.
I always, the Darth Vader shirt, I got it back at the Woodlands Mall when I was still in Texas ages ago.
Yeah.
And you check it out, it's Darth Vader made up as a playing card.
Would you get a Hot Topic?
No, J.C. Penney.
Why'd you cut the sleeves off?
Well, because I have a lot of shirts with the sleeves cut off. That's one of my traits.
And what do you do with scissors? You draw the line,
Yes.
or?
Yeah, no, I just cut it where the sleeves start here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I have shirts that still had their sleeves on it. They're short sleeves, obviously. I have to wear those around the house.
Well, for the record viewers, can you play electric guitar for a moment or no?
Well, let's see. Well, I have to set things up, and see.
Do it real quick. I'll talk, and do it real quick because look, it would be worth it because no one even knows Brown plays guitar, number one. And when you hear him and see him, you're going to definitely know that this is the doctor of music. This is the master of heavy music. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Brown lived through it in the 70s, 80s, 90s. He was there for the Beatles. That's why, look, someone for me, I wasn't there for the Beatles when it was all whatever, like Brown. So that's why I feel like he pushes back on the whole Beatles is better than Iron Maiden thing. I'm just saying Iron Maiden's whole catalog, I mean, it's untouchable. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like the longevity and they're still going. Iron Maiden's the greatest band ever. Greatest band ever. Can you do some Ozzy? Well, scoot more back, Brown. Brown. How are you doing that? Show it on the. Wow. The autism's taking over. Brown, show it more on the camera, Dr. Dumbass. Holy shit. Hey, Brown. Oh, fuck. You got to scoot back a bit. Brown,
You got
scoot
that,
back a
guy?
bit. Brown, it sounded great, but we couldn't see nothing. So scoot back a bit so we can see.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let me see it.
A little bit more. Yeah, scoot back a little bit more so we can see your hands on the guitar. A lot of people think you're doing Guitar Hero or something. Here we go. Now we can't hear shit. Brown, your picklehead ass. Come on. Now we can't hear. Picklehead. There we go. It was very good.
Better?
Yeah, you're inspiring people out there, Brown. You're inspiring people to bring out the instrument. And
All right.
you were doing that. You practiced recently on that Randy Rhoads. You were practicing recently on that, or you always did that?
Well, I always did that a lot of times. Actually, since
That
I
was
got
off
this
that
guitar to
tribute,
be exact.
that live album, right? He hits that real good.
Hey, like I say, it's good to pick this up again. I should probably do another guitar playing video sometime soon. It's been a
Yes.
long while since I did that. I've just been so busy with everything around here that I haven't had the time to. But you know what? Probably my next 2 days off, I'm going to definitely look into doing another guitar playing video for Shizzle.
Start writing
All
some
right.
music.
Hey, if I learned how. But there you go,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen. Me. Go ahead.
You're such a mark for Dave. I'm sure he can help you write music. You know.
Nah,
Come on. That would
if he plays an instrument.
Dave Rose is poetic. He could write you songs that you could play probably. Look, someone from Mother Russia coming out. We love Mother Russia. Tawa in the chat. We love Mother Russia. Thank you. Thank you. Danny MT is from Russia and he's a good man. UFC fighter, everything. Brown. That guitar you have is similar to the Jakey Lee. It's not the same color, but it's,
Not really. Jakey Lee has a whole bunch of custom-made guitars for him. I mean, like, with a lot of odd styles to it. Look him up on Google Images. All the different guitars he has going. He has the Bullseye, Les Pauls, white and black, red and black. He has the custom. He has this one guitar that's a combination of the SG and the Flying V mixed into one within the body. He's been playing that a lot of times during his stints with Pantera.
Yo, you still have that acoustic, that ukulele guitar, or no?
That small guitar, you know what? I should probably get me a couple new strings on it because
Kitty, pull it out and see what you can play, because I want to sing something with you while you play it.
Well, it's tuned to a complete A chord. Yeah,
That's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll do a little doozy for the fans out there. People from Russia coming in now. Great. We love Russia. Mother Russia. Forever. Russia has the most beautiful countryside. All right, here we go. Got a little doozy for you, baby. Music Maniax is here for us. The music brings us through. Together with forever, the music never stops. It never stops. Good times and music with Dr. Brown. He plays the ukulele. We sit on the ground and listen to the music lately. What kind of music are you listening to? Do you use a CD or a cassette tape? You like Dr. Brown, you put the vinyl record on, baby, yeah.
There you go.
What do you think about that? Yeah.
All right.
We do it all over here. Entertain. We got the live music going, and we have podcast style shows. We have the small news videos that we put out. We got the shorts that's rocking it. We have obviously the POV concert videos, the weekly music shows, and then if you go on Dr. Earl W. Brown's channel, you're gonna get the you're gonna get a recording of the show, obviously, but you're gonna get these live DJs, and these are free weekend sets. So like people go out to the club, you're gonna spend $20 at least to get in, right? How much is the club nowadays? Is it 20 nowadays still?
No, well, not for the places I go. It's about for the castle, it's $10. For the catacombs, it's $5. It's all these ritzy, high-class, mainstream venues where everybody dresses like they're top-notch, like they're sold something special. They cost about $20-$25, and the drinks, of course, are expensive.
But instead of going out and wasting your money, you can sit at home. Tell the people about your your DJ sets, and you can close out the show if you want, Brown, as well.
Okay, well, usually on Saturday nights, I premiere Saturday night techno sets. And these are done for the people who are unable to get to whichever club that they're able to go to for whichever reason, whether it's finances or lack of transportation, feeling sick and such. But I often do these on Saturday nights. Now, I haven't planned on making one just yet, but since Wire mentioned, I'll probably do one for this coming Saturday night just as well. And also, I do dark soundscape sets, dark dub sets as well. I perform those live at times, or I premiere them. All depends on the timing and everything else. And that's pretty much about it right now. And plus, I other videos on what's going on with the world, like I talked about Harjit Singh, the bullshit he committed earlier this month. Definitely subscribe to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. Along with this channel, you will not be disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Brad, I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate you, Brown. This is going to be our highest viewed Music Maniacs.
All right.
Now, granted, I'm going to be fair. There is something to this diagonal thing as well. I feel like people see the live and they click on it rather than a rectangle. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that. But we put in the work on this channel. Different ways, whether it's just we started off with the concert videos, classic, and then obviously putting the show on here, and then the shorts, and then really the music news, and obviously the back to the beginning stuff really pumped up this channel. But we're on the road to 1,000 subs on this channel. We're trying to get there, folks, but maybe this show will put us over that hump. We're gonna see. For all your wrestling, pro wrestling news, pro wrestling shows, travel over to the Joe Cronin Show on YouTube. He goes live almost every day. I'm one of the top donators over there. I'm very proud and very honorable. And maybe we can get Joe and Dr. Brown to mend the fences once and for all. And I feel like you're cool with him, but like Joe thinks you're not cool with him. I think it's just a misunderstanding.
Well, he doesn't have to go back to the past. Let's put it that way.
He brings you up. When he brings you up, it's just he misses you and he wants you on it. He doesn't necessarily shit on you per se, but when he does bring you up, if you do come up, he's always like, "Oh, where is that guy? Like, where is he?" He wants you. He kind of, I feel like he puts out that flavor that he wants you around. But you are missed. Obviously, you're part of the history of this community and everything in all aspects. But shout out to everyone. Shout out to Joe, Ken, Dave, everyone. Shout out to all the brothers. Do want to give a shout out to, obviously Ozzy Osbourne.
Thank you.
And we'll see what happens with this WWE thing. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Becky Lynch and everything.
All right, there. Everybody take care. Subscribe to my channel and subscribe to this channel just as well, folks.
Thank you.
Everybody, enjoy your remainder of your Thursday.